Well, good Monday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on all of our streaming platforms as we are in a weather alert day because we do have some we have a storm that is moving through that is bringing us some rain across the area right now, and eventually we could see that rain start to change back over to some snow, and later tonight, with temperatures dropping down into the 20s, we could be dealing with a flash freeze. So a weather alert day is in effect, and it'll run through tomorrow morning, through the morning show, through daybreak, until about 7 a.m. We're looking at the potential for some flash freezing later tonight. First, we have to get rid of this rain, and then we'll see the back edge of the storm system move in, and that'll give us another potential burst of snow this evening into, say, about midnight tonight. And then the sky's clear. Temperatures are going to drop down into the 20s, and what that means is that we could see some of any slush that might accumulate from this second burst of snow tonight, and also any standing water. That could result in a flash freeze because temperatures are going to drop quickly once the sky's clear, and that could lead to some travel issues tomorrow morning. So make sure you stay informed through our streaming app, which you're watching right now, of course, on air, through our social media, and we'll have updates throughout the evening and throughout the night. So here's what it looks like on the satellite and radars. We take you back to earlier this morning when we had sort of still some of that mix that was moving through parts of Hampton Roads. Mainly snow, obviously, up through D.C., just north of Richmond, and sort of this purple color in here. That's where we saw some of that sleet. And then as we went through the day this morning, we saw that warm air start to move in, and that's pushed that rain-snow line well up into areas of the Delmarva. And you can see right now we're dealing with rain across the eastern shore down through Southside and the coastal plain of North Carolina. But then we turn our attention back here out towards the west. You'll notice back towards Charleston, we have sort of that curlicue that is out there around Charleston. That's the upper level system that is going to swing through later this evening. I expect we'll see some of this start to fill in back here across central Virginia, as we're already starting to see a little bit of that towards Roanoke. And that's going to be a secondary burst of some snow that'll likely come through here this evening. The ground is wet now and temperatures are in the 40s, but it could be enough to produce a bit of some light accumulation in some areas tonight, maybe even a slushy inch, especially across the peninsula, middle peninsula, and the eastern shore as that swings through. And that, combined with the freezing temperatures later tonight, could cause that flash freeze. Here's a look at radar right now. We'll switch over towards live radar. And again, we're dealing with just rain here across Hampton Roads now, and sort of that back edge cutting right through the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, down through Southside into Suffolk, and back down through areas towards Gates County and Hertford County, North Carolina. Again, everything is falling in the form of rain. That wasn't the case earlier this morning, and we had some decent accumulations of some snow up across the middle peninsula and the peninsula and over towards the eastern shore. A lot of that has been washed away by the rain and the warming temperatures, but everything continues here to slide off towards the east. So here's what it looks like with Futurecast taking you through this afternoon. Notice again by 4 o'clock, most of the rain off the coast, temperatures in the 40s, although close to borderline freezing back towards Tappahannock, West Point, and Richmond. And then here comes that upper level system swinging through. You can see that burst of snow indicated by the blue here by 6 o'clock, working its way towards Richmond, Emporia, Wakefield, and temperatures dropping. Cloudy through much of Hampton Roads. Temperatures are right around 40 degrees, but then we'll take you to 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Temperatures dropping as the cold air comes rushing in on the backside of the system, and you notice some of these darker blues. That's where we could have some more moderate snow. That's why we're going to watch the eastern shore, Accomack County, Northampton County, over towards the northern neck, middle peninsula, the peninsula, and even Southside. I think parts of Chesapeake and down towards the state line, we could see a little bit of snow. Again, a slushy inch maybe possible, maybe a little bit more up across the eastern shore. And then watch what happens. By about 11 o'clock, most of that snow will be out of here. Still cloudy, temperatures above freezing, but as skies clear, say after about 3 o'clock, those temperatures are just going to drop and drop quickly. So by tomorrow morning, this is 6 a.m., notice temperatures in the 20s. So with clear skies, temperatures in the 20s, that's certainly cold enough for anything that is out there on the roadways, on the bridges, on the overpasses to freeze, whether that's some slush, whether that's some leftover standing water, and that could cause some travel issues into tomorrow morning. And by the afternoon, temperatures only in the upper 30s. It's going to be sunny, it's going to be blustery, it'll feel more like the 20s. Now, again, that big concern late tonight into tomorrow morning and for that Tuesday morning commute, and while we still have a weather alert day into tomorrow morning, is for that potential for some freezing on the bridges and the overpasses. And I know VDOT and the cities have done a great job already pre-treating the roadways. Of course, we've had the rain on top of that, but some of that brine solution might have been washed away, and bridges and overpasses, they can freeze quicker than the regular roadways where you have the land that helps insulate those roadways. So Taylor Stephenson has a report on why bridges freeze before roadways.
I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, here to explain to you how your weather works. During winter weather events, any type of travel is strongly discouraged because the road conditions may become dangerous. Bridges are especially dangerous to travel on because they ice over much faster than the roads. There are a couple of reasons for this. First, bridges are suspended in the air, which allows cold air to wrap around all sides of the structure. So, bridges cool down to the air temperature easily. If the air close to the surface is 32 degrees or below, the bridge will fall to that temperature before the road. Then any precipitation that falls would freeze on contact or accumulate. Secondly, bridges are usually constructed of concrete or steel compared to the road, which is usually made up of asphalt. Concrete and steel cool more easily than asphalt, so it's best to avoid bridges in icy weather or driving altogether if you can. If you have to travel in those messy conditions, make sure to keep a blanket, food, water, and a flashlight in your car just in case you get stuck on the road. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and that's how your weather works.
Alrighty, thanks Taylor. And the other thing that we're going to be watching closely are the wind chills. I mentioned that it's going to be sunny tomorrow, but it is going to be blustery as we start things off into tomorrow morning. So we'll take a look at those wind chills. This is 6 a.m. We're looking at wind chills tomorrow morning that'll be in the teens and even some single digits back towards Richmond and Tappahannock. And even into the afternoon, we mentioned those air temperatures up into the mid to upper 30s. These are the wind chills, so this is what you're going to have to dress for tomorrow morning. Most of us, it'll feel like the 20s, even the low 20s up across the eastern shore. And then as we transition into Wednesday morning, another cold morning, wind chills in the teens, single digits up towards West Point, Tappahannock, Richmond, maybe 10 degrees is what it's going to feel like Wednesday morning. So we've got the cold air that is going to be moving in. It's going to be blustery into Tuesday and Wednesday and even into Thursday. By Thursday morning, we're looking at wind chills that'll likely be down into the single digits, even inland. So it is going to be a very, very cold start to the day on Thursday. Again, most spots, wind chills in the single digits, close to zero towards Tappahannock and Richmond. So there are a lot of things going on with this storm. Once it exits, that cold air is going to work its way in. And that sort of sets the stage for what might happen as we get into this weekend. You might have heard us talk about a potential another storm as we head into this weekend, and that potential is there. I'm going to show you the two major computer models, the European and the American, and they differ a little bit in the placement of the storm, and that will determine whether we get rain or snow or a mix. So we'll begin with the European model on Friday morning, looking at cloudy skies across the area. It's going to be a cold day on Friday in the upper 30s, but dry through the day. And then as we get into Saturday morning, this is 6 a.m. Saturday, cold air in place. We've got the system moving in. The European is a little bit farther south, so that means the cold air will be able to work its way in. So again, this is Saturday morning, 6 a.m. The pinks in there indicating a mixed precipitation. That would be rain or snow. The blues in here, the whites and the blues, that's the snow, and of course the green is the rain. And notice that rain-snow line once again right across Hampton Roads, with maybe starting out as a mix, transitioning over to rain through the south side in North Carolina, maybe holding on to that snow a little bit longer across areas of the peninsula, middle peninsula, and the eastern shore. And then again, it's all out of here as we head into the day on Sunday. That is, of course, on Saturday. That's the European model. The American model, similar, as we start things off here at 9 a.m. on Friday morning, dry through much of the day. But here's Saturday morning. The American model has the low a little bit farther to the north. That means some more warm air will be pulled into it. So notice that it has mainly rain through much of Hampton Roads, maybe upper parts of the peninsula, Middlesex County, and into the northern neck and back towards Richmond, looking at a mixed bag of precipitation, and then calls for that warm air to really just be socked in. Very similar to this storm as we get into Saturday midday and into the afternoon, looking at mainly some rain and maybe a changeover or a backlash on the backside. So maybe similar to what we saw with this storm today. That's according to the American model. The European model, a little bit farther to the south, has the cold air in place for just a little bit longer. So right now we're dealing with clouds all across the area, still in the 30s up in Williamsburg right now. And you can see on the tops of the buildings, there's still a little bit of snow that is showing up there. A lot of that has been melting because of the rain. We had a little bit of snow on the ground up in Newport News there at Town Center. Now temperatures in the upper 30s. We're looking at rain, so that is mostly melted. And we've got a little bit of fog showing up here in downtown Norfolk as temperatures have warmed up well into the 40s. And we're holding on to 50 degrees in Kill Devil Hills, still looking at some rain along the Outer Banks. That is our KDH camera there, courtesy of the folks there at the Wright Brothers Memorial. So that's here around the region. Let's take a look at some places where I know folks are enjoying the snow, the ski slopes, and there are a lot of folks there. In Cataloochee, North Carolina, you can see the skiers and the snowboarders out there where it's a nice 23 degrees. That's what's going on in the mountains. And as we head up towards Massanutten here in Virginia, 25 degrees as well. You can see mostly, it looks like mostly snowboarders there as we have the camera move around, look over towards the ski lift. And again, some folks enjoying some of the natural snow that is now on top of the man-made snow. It doesn't look like they even have the snow guns going there. As we head a few other places, you can see a lot of folks lined up there ready to get on the ski lift there at Snowshoe as you come down. I think that's a green slope there on the right and a blue slope there on the left, if I remember correctly from my time up there at Snowshoe. And again, you can see all the folks out there, the skiers and the snowboarders, just waiting to get on the ski lift. Again, enjoying that snow. And here's Beech Mountain, up at the top of the mountain, 30 degrees, but you can see the wind blowing out there and some of that blowing snow that is up there in Beech Mountain. And Wintergreen, haven't seen too many folks out there, but you can certainly see the snow in 27 degrees out in the mountains of Virginia. A few other places around the region. This is Arlington, Virginia, and you can see there the Washington Monument off in the distance, right in there, and you can see some of the snow. It looks like roads are not too bad, but some folks around D.C. picking up close to 9 inches of snow, and there could be a little bit more later tonight as that upper level system starts to swing through the area. Let's head out towards the west. This is Akron, Ohio. Again, you can see some of that snow blowing. Doesn't look like too many issues out there on the roadways in Akron. And Columbus right now, looking at some of that snow coming in, the camera blowing around just a little bit. So we're not the only ones dealing with some of this snow. Now, a little bit farther to the north, Chicago, no snow there. They missed out on this system. It was a little too far south for the Windy City to get any of that snow. You can see things moving nicely there along the waterfront and along the lakefront, and no snow there on the ground. So our forecast for tonight, 25 degrees, bitterly cold wind chills. Again, you saw those down into the teens, and we could have that early burst of snow, likely to be out of here by midnight or so. And then notice those winds again starting to pick up out of the northwest, 15 to 25, gusting up to 35. And we'll likely have some blustery conditions tomorrow as well. It'll be sunny, wake up, but there could still be some of the black ice out on the roadways. And notice the high temperatures tomorrow, only 36 degrees. And that blustery wind will continue. And then tomorrow night, 25, not quite as breezy, and only 36 again on Sunday, mostly sunny and still cold. So a weather alert day as we start things off tomorrow morning, mainly because of the icy roads. And then by Wednesday, 36 degrees, 35 on Thursday, 39 Friday. And then there's that possibility, as we mentioned, of that wintry mix as we go into the day on Saturday. Likely starting out as a mix, changing over to rain. Again, it really depends on the location of that storm. Temperature only 42 degrees and still remaining breezy behind that, and well below normal temperatures holding around 40 degrees as we get into Sunday and Monday. So again, that's still well below our normal or average high temperature of 51 degrees. So again, we're continuing the weather alert day through tomorrow morning. The big concern will be that burst of snow that comes in this evening, maybe a mix, maybe that burst of snow, and then that potential flash freeze as we head into tomorrow morning. That could cause some travel issues. Daybreak will be starting early tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. Of course, Cheryl Nelson will be in tracking traffic. Craig Moeller and Taylor Stephenson will be in tracking the weather, letting you know that by then skies will be clear. The precipitation will be gone, but those temperatures, will be down again into the 20s, wind chills in the teens. So a cold start to the day, and there's that potential on those bridges and overpasses that we could have some travel issues starting things off. So you'll definitely want to monitor the forecast closely. Again, this morning had some of that mix, some slushy accumulations in some areas. And then the storm is lifting off towards the north and east. So I want to take a look at some of those snowfall totals as we zoom in some of the storm reports around the area and some of the snowfall reports back towards Cortland. Not much, 0.02 of an inch of rain. Let's go back to that and take a look at some of those other snowfall reports around the area, because we did see a little bit more up across the peninsula. Up in Langley View, picked up 0.8 of an inch of snowfall there. As we go up towards Fort Eustis, 1.5 inches. Let's zoom in a little bit more and get a closer look at some of these snow totals that have been up into that part of the country, that part of the region. As we head up towards parts of the Middle Peninsula, up around Perry in Matthews County, just under 1 inch. 2.5 inches up towards Dutton there in Matthews County. And as we head up towards Middlesex County, Harcum, picking up about 1.5 inches of snow. And this was the snowfall amounts before we had the rain move in, melt a lot of it. Williamsburg Airport there off of Richmond Road, 1.5 inches. 1.8 in Oak Tree, 3 inches around Lightfoot. That was as of 7 a.m. Of course, we have seen, again, that rain come in and melt a lot of that snow, especially off the ground, still on top of some of the roofs of some of the buildings. And then up around Croker, around 2.5 inches. We get down here towards Beaconsdale and Newport News, 1.5 inches, and 1.8 in Newport News. So again, we have that upper level system that is back over Charleston that is going to swing through here. You can sort of, I think, even almost pick out sort of that spin that is out there. We'll watch it again and see sort of that spin back there across Kentucky, working its way into West Virginia. That's what's going to swing through here later this evening, giving us that chance again at a burst of snow. Right now, most of the area is starting to see the rain come to an end. We still have some of the rain across the south side and down in the northeastern North Carolina, but that is continuing to work its way eastward. We'll get a little bit of a break before that upper level system swings through. And again, Futurecast doing a great job of showing by 4 o'clock here in about another hour and 10 minutes or so, showing that rain moving off the coast and then starting to fill in once again as that upper level system swings through. Temperatures in the 40s by 6 o'clock here through south side into northeastern North Carolina, 30s across the peninsula, middle peninsula, and back towards Richmond, where it's been barely above freezing much of the day today. And once you get back towards Louisa County and points north and west of there, only in the 20s. And there's that burst coming in this evening. So 7, 8, 9 o'clock, Tim will be on around 8 o'clock with another streaming video. We'll be streaming through some of that snow burst coming in between 8 and 9 o'clock, and he'll be watching the roadways, watching the cameras, seeing if there any of that snow is starting to accumulate. And then by 11 o'clock, it's off the coastline. And we mentioned still cloudy, but once the skies clear after about 3 o'clock, that's when we'll see those temperatures really drop. So these are the actual air temperatures, not the wind chills. Wind chills will be in the teens because the winds will be picking up behind the system, but air temperatures in the 20s, and that's why we're really concerned about the potential for that flash freeze. As skies clear, temperatures will drop quickly. Any slush that might come from the snow burst, any leftover standing water that is on the roadways, that potential is there for it to freeze. And then into the afternoon, sunny, but only 38 degrees, so no rainfall tomorrow. Clear, crystal blue skies. It'll be nice and blue, but temperatures in the 30s and wind chills in the 20s. As a matter of fact, tomorrow morning wind chills in the teens, even some single digits up towards Chincoteague, Tappahannock, Richmond. And by the afternoon, as I mentioned, those wind chills only in the 20s. So that's what it's going to feel like tomorrow with those winds gusting over 30 miles per hour. So a lot of sunshine. It is going to be a cold, cold afternoon. Then in the Wednesday morning, wind chills in the teens, single digits, and likely wind chills in the single digits again into the day on Thursday. In a lot of spots, even areas that we typically don't see some of these cold temperatures. Outer Banks, wind chills in the teens. Eastern Shore, wind chills in the single digits as well. And then we turn our attention to this weekend. We mentioned the two different computer models, the European showing a little bit of a better chance for some of that mixed precipitation. This is Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Mainly rain, changing over to rain, certainly south side into North Carolina. maybe lingering into some snow into the afternoon across the peninsula. That's the European model. The American model a little bit farther north with the system. That allows the warm air to work its way in a little bit more, so that might push that rain snow line a little bit farther to the north as we go into the day on Saturday, similar to today, and then maybe a little bit of a mix and some backlash moisture late Saturday, and things clearing out by Sunday. So that's sort of what we're looking at here on this weather alert day. Rain out there right now, but later this evening we could see that burst of snow coming in, and then late tonight into tomorrow morning, that potential there for the flash freeze that could cause some black ice and some issues on the roadways and the travel for tomorrow morning. You can always check in here on air and online. Again, we'll have all of our newscasts starting at 4 o'clock, running through 6:30. We'll have a special streaming report coming up at 8 o'clock that you can watch on all of our platforms, 13 News Now Plus. You can always download that for Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. Of course, the newscast at 11, and then tomorrow morning, daybreak, will start bright and early at 4 a.m. Again, some potential issues out on the roadways if we have some freezing and some refreezing of some of the slush and some of the standing water into tomorrow morning. So I'm 13 News Now meteorologist Evan Stewart on this Monday Weather Alert Day. We'll be back with our next live broadcast, which of course will be streaming as well, starting here in just about an hour at 4 o'clock.